I am really, really annoyed with this. Not with the piece, but with something that happened with it as I was putting a finish on. You can see here, there's that copper color on my finish brush. So the type of finish that we use is great finish. It's this Gamblin Gamvar finish. I just used a satin. We have a gloss back there as well. It's really good stuff. But this has happened with the metallic spray paints more than once. Like, this has been dry for over 24 hours, but it's moving the metallic. This was like way more of this gray. And as I was putting the finish on, I was going side to side, and it moved some of this copper over. And that's really annoying, obviously, if I didn't want that to happen. That wasn't what it was supposed to be. It happened once with silver spray paint as well. This time it's happening with the copper spray paint, so it seems to be something that's just the metallic spray paints. There's something in that pigment with Montana that the Gamblin is reacting to, and it's like reactivating it, which is really not cool. So in the future, I don't really know. I mean, I want to use this finish because it's good finish. I might have to do something different whenever I have a metallic spray paint piece. I don't really know. I don't think this is completely ruined. It's just not what I wanted necessarily. So, I don't know. We'll see once it's dry. I can't believe. let me start again. It's minus 25 outside right now. And I was thinking about it, and it's fitting that I'm wearing this hoodie. But I'm wearing this hoodie because it's warm, so that's also fit. Well, never mind. Anyway, shut your face and just get to the point. It's minus 25 in Lethbridge right now. It rarely ever gets this cold, and in Saskatchewan, like in a winter, like this is kind of average. Like from what I remember, it was being minus 20 something consistently. Like, very consistently. Maybe it's not the average. Maybe the average would have been minus 17 or... I don't know. But I remember very consistently it was in the negative 20s, mid-20s, you know, high 20... Like, you know, minus 28, whatever. Dipping into into minus 30s happened frequently enough that it wasn't like the end of the world. Like, getting into the minus 40s was like, oh man, like, it is freezing. But that would still happen, I think, once or twice a winter, at least. Like, but being in the minus 20s was so just like, that was the thing. I don't know if it's because I'm an old man or I've acclimatized, you know, in the past 4 years to Lethbridge so much. But I do not know how, especially like in university, I like stood around waiting for the bus in weather like this, you know? Like, this is the first time I've busted out my winter jacket just from the past couple days. And I'm like, man, I'm really glad I have that. But I haven't needed it up until the past couple days. Up until it started to get below minus 20, it wasn't really in the minus 20s. That maybe it dipped in there like once or twice the whole winter. And now we're in like February. like first week of February is like past us. So it's just, I just can't believe that I used to walk around from home to the bus, from the bus to university or downtown or to work or all this stuff. Like, I had a vehicle for most of the period of like my 20s when I was in university, but sometimes I didn't, and I just had to walk to work in other places too that were a lot further than just the bus stop. But in university, I mean, I didn't want to pay for a parking pass, and I had to wait for a bus. And in winter, buses are frequently going to be more late than in summer because of weather, right? Or like a bus just doesn't show up at all. And then another bus has to, and there's just so many things that can happen. I was like, I don't know how I survived. Like right now, I'm like struggling. Like it was minus 25 this morning, and it was like, I'm struggling with the fact that it's this cold. I'm just like, my feet are freezing. Like I'm wearing my hoodie inside the studio, which I've never had to do before. Had to break up my winter jacket. It's like, what's next? Long johns? Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know how, it's, now I've never really felt acclimatized until now. Or it felt like, man, I really got used to it in Lethbridge. But I guess that's the same thing. When I moved to Lethbridge from Saskatoon, I was acclimatized to Saskatoon, so I was like, man, this is amazing weather. Like, what are you talking about? -10, who cares? Like, in Saskatoon, that's a good winter day. Like, so anyway, I'm an idiot, and it's cold. So, thanks to Randy, Pandora has another chance at life here. If she doesn't fall again and stay down there for how many days. So new soil, repotted into a bigger, she was apparently, root bound?
Yes.
Root bound as well. So bigger pot that apparently we won't have to change for a long time. And she took off the dead leaves and stuff, and she looks better already. I'm just going to do a quick watering and then hang her back up, and we'll see what happens. Well, I've got a phone call in the next hour and 15 minutes, some point in there, that I'm going to get. I'm a little nervous for it, because it is about the results of biopsies and stuff from that scope I did 2 weeks ago. I think it's been 2 weeks. I don't even remember. But yeah, that gastroscopy, they're going to call me, let me know what is up, because they think they found some evidence of Barrett's esophagus, which is something that apparently can lead to the cancers. And yeah, I guess we'll find out more soon. Hello?
Nothing?
Yes, this is.
Hi, it's Dr. Bora calling.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm all right.
Great. So I just wanted to review your biopsy results. Nothing bad. There was a little bit of inflammatory change in the stomach and up in the lower part of the esophagus.
Okay.
Specifically, I was wondering about when I took the biopsies whether you have something called Barrett's esophagus. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever heard about that?
I have, because I got the same scope done in Saskatoon about 5 or 6 years ago, because I had a globus that they found in my throat.
So, the biopsies are not in keeping with Barrett's esophagus.
Okay.
So, Barrett's, I don't know who Barrett was. He was some guy. What it is metaplasia. Metaplasia is normal-looking cells in the wrong place. So Barrett's esophagus is normal-looking, what are intestinal cells, but they're up at the lower part of your esophagus. And what it is basically a sign of acid exposure. You don't have any intestinal metaplasia. You actually have something called pancreatic metaplasia. It actually have pancreas cells up there, but that is actually nothing. Like, it's not a sign of anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. It's just sort of a fluke that you happen to have it.
Okay.
Because the reason we're interested in Barrett's esophagus is that it increases your risk of esophageal cancer.
Yeah. Seemingly cardiac issues I was having, but they wanted to determine whether it was cardiac related or not. So there's nothing, I guess, that you found that might account for some of the pressure and pains and stuff that I was getting.
Well, you don't have Barrett's, but you do have esophagitis. Like you have, sort of the signs that show that acid reflux is happening, and that is, something that can cause those types of pains.
Okay.
We don't always find the cause for every episode of pain, even when it is quite severe.
Yeah.
Mostly we just rule things out.
Well, there you have it. Good news, and a little bit of new information, but I think I knew some of that for sure. The mint tea thing is, that's news, or tea in general. I wonder now if I should cut back on my tea consumption, just because it was something I was trying to do to, like, I don't know. I was like, oh, tea is good for you. So, I don't know. I don't think daily is going to cross that line into excessive. However, I don't need mint tea. Like, I can do without the mint. So, maybe we'll scraw off the mint and I can definitely lessen my caffeine intake through coffee. I really need to lessen my... Yeah. I don't have coffee that much, but I wondered if coffee is a trigger or not. Because it's definitely never more than a once a day thing, and it's never even a once a day thing every week. If I have coffee 3 times a week, that would be like on the higher end of average for what I like in a week for me. It's just rare that happens. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. So that's it. So, using gambling finishes is not a great idea for also combining that with Montana spray paint, metallics specifically. With every other pigment and color, it's fine. It happened once with the silver on this really big canvas, and I was really cheesed. With this one, it happened again, where this area was just like this gray, but everything was dry, and I put the finish on, and then it just dragged it over. Same thing with this area. It was just as blue as here, and then because I had the finish on here, it just started dragging it over. So something about this reignites this even after it's dry. Only the metallics. Only the metallics. The silver, the gold, the copper here. Yeah, that's really annoying. So I picked up some spray finish. It works really well. I just tried it, and I'll show you the 2 pieces that I used it on. But it's like $22 a can, so I don't want to use it very much. This stuff is expensive too. I think it's about $30-something a bottle. I don't know what would go further. I'm assuming I like this satin finish. There's a gloss of this as well. But the other thing is that this doesn't work so well on harder paint like the house paints, the latex acrylics. It also doesn't work very well on boards. It just doesn't absorb and have an even application, so it's like really spotty all over the place. I applied it on there first. I applied the Gamblin on there, and that's what happened. It was just super spotty. It just wouldn't be a smooth finish. So I used this. I need to go and pick up a mat sometime because that is really, really good stuff. So I did this yesterday night, and this one as well. And so they both have that spray finish on there, and it's a really wonderful finish. I really like it. I've never used it before, and I still really love this finish, but I can only use it on canvas, and if it doesn't have any spray paint metallics. That seems to be my new rule, because it was dry, all of it was dry, and it just like reignites the metallics and just wrecks stuff. This is finished. This is the way it's going to stay. I kind of repaired it on the spot with what I could and came to terms with it, and I still really like it. It's just not what it was supposed to be when I thought it was done. But now I know better, and I'm doing some things, and it seems like, for me personally, I think with some artists, you might have less and less supplies as you go on, as you refine your practice. But for me, with my practice still, like, I'm experimenting and trying new things pretty frequently, and I'm not like going into one specific like vein and staying there and working the kinks out of it to 100%. I'm still exploring the way that I do abstracts after, over 10 years. I'm still like trying different things with abstracts and new finishes and mediums and whatever, and then collecting more stuff. So this is the reason why some artists, like myself, end up being like seen as hoarders. I have things that I use very, very, not very often, very, very rarely. And now I've got to get different finishes. Like I've got a gloss of this, and I really like the satin, and time and a place, which one I want to use, right? Well, now I have to have spray finishes because the way it reacts with metallics, or it doesn't work well on boards, and I'm working with some boards again. And so I need a spray finish. But I have a gloss, so now I want a matte. And there's just tons of things. I mean, there's like things in here that I don't use all the time, but I definitely make use of, like sponges. Don't use them very often, but every once in a while I really need one. I've got things like in here. There's like some tiles, like glass tiles. Glass? I don't know. They're not glass. What are they? It doesn't say. But there's like tiles in there. I've got a lot of things for texture that I just don't use all the time. But when I need them, I need them. So the kind of artist that I am, just that's the thing. I end up needing more space over time as I collect things that I want to use in my art practice, and sometimes I don't use those things for years. Nail polish is something I was using a lot of. I got people to donate nail polish to me, and then I wasn't using it very often. And maybe I'll get back into using it, but the thing is I used it like, oh man, I really like using this. I'm going to use it a bunch. I got people to donate, so I had all these colors, and very quickly I stopped using it. And I very rarely used it in my practice again. So that's something I need to look at and maybe downsize some of the makeup I have, because I was really into using it for art for a while. And now I haven't used it for so long that maybe I won't use it, And some of that stuff isn't going to last very long, and some of it does. But there's a lot of things, too, that much more often it goes the opposite way. I don't use something that I'm like, this will be cool, I'm going to use this, it's going to come in handy, and I don't use it maybe for years, and then I'm like, yep, there it is, I need it, and here it is, and I'm really glad I kept that and didn't throw it out. Anyway, outro to the vlog. Let's just do it right now. It is still super, 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 super cold. We're in minus 30s. It's getting colder. It's supposed to lighten up in a couple days. Hopefully it does. And yeah, it's freezing, and I don't remember what else I was going to say about that. I have a conversation up that is the only other vlog or only other video this week, and it is about killing your heroes and what that means and how I interpret it and what we can learn from that. And with that, we will see you on another time.